Welcome to I Am the Cute One, the most chaotic school dance in the podcast universe.
Let's spike the punch, grind to Usher, and talk about our favorite topic, ourselves.
Hello, I am Donnie and I am the cute one.
And I'm Chelsea and I am the cute one.
And today we're covering A Walk to Remember.
We are. And cuties, I know we promised Brokeback Mountain. We will be covering that next week.
Fear not.
A little behind the scenes tea. I was going through it this week.
Mm-hmm.
And Patreon cuties know a little bit about what's going on, but it's not my business to tell. I will just say being a parent is hard and you're only as happy as your least happy child, or whatever that fortune cookie once said. So Donnie changed it to be a shorter movie, and then he was very sweet. I hate to go off brand and admit that we're sweetie pies behind the scenes to each other, but you were very sweet and you said, I will moderate. Let's cover A Walk to Remember. It's slightly shorter, so you're not having to sit through a 2-hour movie this week while you're already losing your shit. And I thought that was so sweet. Now, I thought it was so sweet, Donnie, until I watched the first scene of this movie, and I'm not actually convinced that this isn't like a long con play where you are still getting payback for the time I made us cover Just Married the very week you filed for divorce, because if you're not familiar, cuties, if it's been a while since you've watched that film, the first scene of A Walk to Remember is someone getting bullied so bad they almost die.
He was bullied?
It was like an initiation hazing.
Yeah, like an initiation. That's not bullying. No, it's not.
Why do you think so many frats are out here getting shut down, Donnie? They made him drive separate.
Because the schools don't want to talk about the Epstein files.
Well, you know, I guess we've all learned a lesson. Greek life isn't toxic. They're just covering up for the Epstein files. Now, we have said that file by name twice now in the first 30 seconds of this recording. So go ahead and give us a follow on YouTube while it lasts.
Also, maybe it was long con payback, but the cuties are on my side. This is Donnie is the cute one gals because they picked this movie.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
This was the cuties' choice. And I wasn't mad about it. It had been a while since I saw this movie, and I had a great time crying my eyes out.
As did I, if you can't see. Yeah. Also, it wasn't just for Just Married, Chelsea. You also kept trying to add the breakup into rotation, which, cuties, if you're not familiar with the plot of that film, it is a couple that breaks up and is forced to live together while they're dealing with their own feelings.
Yes, and spoiler alert, they don't get back together.
They don't. It's not a rom-com. This movie premiered January 25th, 2002. It was a Friday. Black Hawk Down, Snow Dogs, A Walk to Remember, A Beautiful Mind, and The Count of Monte Cristo were top 5 at the box office. You Got It Bad by Usher was the #1 song in the U.S. American Family and That 80s Show premiered this week, while Daria and The Chamber aired their final episodes. Do you remember The Chamber?
No. What is that?
It was a reality competition show where they were asked trivia questions, but they were in a torture chamber chair. So if they got it wrong, they would be like electrocuted or like very high heat or very cold.
That's crazy. Yeah. And those were the type of reality shows that I did not get into. That was a pre-Donnie period of my life. So I didn't have people delighting in electroshock therapy while answering Jeopardy questions.
Okay,
you know?
That's fair. No, I miss early 2000s reality TV, and I'm sure we'll get into it on TGIF, but Tyra did announce at the time of our recording that she is bringing back Cycle 25
Thank you, universe.
America's Next Top Model. Now, something the cuties, I think, know about it. I'm not sure if you know, but I've never watched America's Next Top Model ever in my life. So I want to do a real series where I watch them and just like how I'm doing with my vlogs, just do like 1-minute recaps of the camera on me watching.
I love that. You're going to have a ball, Donnie. That's crazy that you've never watched because it is so up your alley. It's not even funny.
But that's the kind of reality TV I never got into, like Drag Race, America's Next Top Model, Project Runway, like people that are actually like talented in their craft.
Right.
And I know there's still like stuff, early 2000s mess, but it is still like people that are good at their job.
Yeah. The thing that makes this different than a Project Runway is we've got Tyra Banks, and there's only one Tyra Banks in the biz. And there is stuff with a capital S. Let's not forget that they have a whole photo shoot where they trade races with each other.
Brilliant. If today's episode makes you laugh or scream or trade races with somebody, do us a favor and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. A 5-star review is the easiest way to help us grow our audience and this community for free. So thank you. So this movie was based on the book by Nicholas Sparks with a screenplay by Karen Jansen, who also wrote Free Willy 2, Dolphin Tale, and The Matchmaker. And I was thinking about it, and like this was meant to be a big movie and like a hit and bring in money, and Mandy Moore's foray into acting and all of that. So like someone that only had written Free Willy 2 and Dolphin Tale is quite a gamble.
Truly. A big gamble.
Yeah, it hit. When you get the jackpot, you get those 3 cherries in a row. This was it, I guess. But
I love that Nicholas Sparks has a formula that's tried and true in all of his books, obviously, where, spoiler alert, someone's going to be dying.
Yeah.
But when he makes his books into movies, there was a period of time where it was like pop star and hunky established actor. Because let's not forget the last song, Miley Cyrus, Liam Hemsworth.
And then she's not really a pop star, but that dancer girl with the brother, Julianne Hough.
Oh, the dancer girl with the brother. I think it was Jackie Schimmel of the Bitch Bible that first pointed out this dynamic to me, but very incestuous. Very Coffee and Love by Ashley Darby.
That's just theater siblings, and I will not speak ill of them.
As someone who had a whole Dirty Dancing routine with his younger sister, you won't besmirch it.
Yeah, my sister and I already picked 2 duets to perform as one back to back. They're both breakup duets, but one where she gets to be the lead and I'm basically just backup, and one where I get to be the lead and basically she's just backup.
I think I know the answer to this, but where are you performing these?
Big Brother 40, there's a karaoke machine.
Okay.
It was directed by Adam Shankman, who also directed The Wedding Planner, Bringing Down the House, Hairspray, Cheaper by the Dozen 2, the When I Look at You music video, speaking of Miley Cyrus in the last song, 3 episodes of Glee, the Enchanted sequel, and he choreographed the musical episode of Buffy.
Whoa.
It cost $11.8 million to make and brought in $47.5 million. Also, Mandy Moore won Breakthrough Actress at the MTV Movie Awards and the Teen Choice Awards, and then Mandy Moore and Shane West won Choice Chemistry at the Teen Choice Awards, but Mandy Moore lost Teen Choice Award Best Actress in a Drama to Natalie Portman in Star Wars Episode 2, which I think is crazy and should be its own category. It's like how the Golden Globes do comedy/musical. It's not the same thing. Wicked should not be losing to friggin' Bridesmaids or whatever. But okay. Roger Ebert gave it 3 stars and said, yes, the movie's corny at times, but corniness is all right at times. I forgave the movie its broad emotion because it earned it. It lays things on a little thick at the end, but by then it had paid its way. Director Adam Shankman and his writer Karen Jansen, working from the novel by Nicholas Sparks, have an unforced trust in the material that redeems, even justifies the broad strokes. They go wrong only 3 times. 1, the subplot involving the paralyzed boy should have either been dealt with or dropped. 2, it's tiresome to make the black teenager use brother in every sentence, as if he is not their peer, but was ported in from another world. 3, as Khrushchev proved more than 80 years ago in a famous experiment. When an audience sees an impassive close-up, it supplies the necessary emotion from the context. It can be fatal for an actor to try to act in a close-up, and Landon's little smile at the end is a distraction at a crucial moment. These are small flaws in a touching movie.
That third one, I feel like he had already written down there were 3 things that went wrong. And he's like, oh, shit. Because those first 2 are pretty big ones. And then he's like, oh, God, we're at the end of the movie. And I said there was 3 things wrong with it. That little smirk.
No, I do feel like a final shot can ruin a movie for you. Like, what the fuck is that? And the smirk didn't take away from me, per se. I was crying about God by the end. But that's nothing Macy Gray hasn't already heard. So...
Love that.
Why not Nicholas Sparks? For taglines, I brought, and this, you better like it, I'll be so mad. She was his only hope. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay.
No accent work this time. Maybe I'll throw in a brother from here and there when I'm acting out that guy.
I always wanted a brother.
But you will be sung at a lot.
I figured.
Okay.
My tagline is, a love story to die for.
Oh, that was juicy. The real ones are, find out who you are and do it on purpose.
Ugh.
There's more to attraction than meets the eye. That one I really hate.
Yeah, like, that's still Mandy Moore. They might have put dead girl makeup on her, and we'll get to that. But, like, I would say that the attraction is also just she's still Mandy Moore and he's still Shane West.
They did try their best, though. They made her brunette in this.
They gave her the 90s mom bangs.
Oh, I know. I know this. Mandy Moore was a minor during the filming of this movie and could only film 10 hours a day. She was 17 and Shane West was 23.
Don't love that.
No. But when you have a story to tell, age doesn't matter, you know?
I think a lot of people in Congress are saying that right now.
My ex used to say, and I don't really see it, there were some scenes I did see it. My ex used to say that Shane West and Mandy Moore are identical to the point where this movie made him uncomfortable because he just assumed they were siblings.
Huh. I'll have to take a closer look the next time I see their faces. I don't see it. Now, I do see Amanda Bynes and Jesse McCartney.
Looking like each other or looking like these two?
Looking like each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't see it. When he was crying in the car by himself, I kind of saw it there, but the rest of the movie, not at all. This is not a Julianne Derek Huff situation.
No.
Also, many of the locations in this movie were used on Dawson's Creek, including the school. Speaking of pop stars, Jessica Simpson was considered for the role of Jamie, and speaking of saying the N-word, Anne Hathaway was in the running until the very end.
Wow, I'm really glad they ended up with who they ended up with.
Oh, me too. And I do feel like what is meant for you is meant for you. So I do feel like Mandy Moore would have found her way into acting at some point. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like this is what made people say, like, oh, she might be more of an actress than a singer.
For sure.
Now, the soundtrack doesn't let you forget she's a singer.
Right.
But
they surely did work in a song.
Not just hers, though. Like, she's on the soundtrack repeatedly.
Yeah, I don't like when they do that.
When it's Mandy Moore or Leighton Meester and Gossip Girl, I make an exception, but it does, for a second, pull me out of it.
There was one part where they're driving in the car together.
I thought the same thing. That was not her.
Okay, because that really pissed me off. It's one thing if it was like background music because we can take ourselves out of it and be like, this is meant for us. This is breaking the fourth wall. This soundtrack is a transition scene. But I thought in the car, they're flipping back and forth and she's flipping to her own song. And I'm like, so what? Like what in this universe, there is a singer named Mandy Moore who's like your long lost twin, like the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Imagine that was the plot. This movie, and I know what it's about, a little dead girl, but like the whole time, the first half, like it could easily turn into a horror. Like when he follows her in the cemetery at night, or even when she's like, promise you won't fall in love with me. There are like thriller elements.
When she's giving her list and he's like, what's number one? And she's like, I would tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Yeah. I want to edit it into a horror trailer.
You should.
What character, if any, do you identify as?
This was the first time I had watched this movie, I think as an adult, but at the very least, certainly the first time I had watched this movie since becoming a parent. And for the first time, I found myself really relating to and resonating with Jamie's dad. Like, get away from her, you douchebag.
Okay.
What about you?
It's always fun to, like, if we watch Misery, to say I'm Kathy Bates, because there are parts of me there. Or if we're covering Gossip Girl, to say I'm Leighton Meester. But sometimes the worst person in the movie, it's not a fun thing to admit to. It just is. And I do think in terms of, like, jealousy and just not being happy with seeing other people get things that you don't have, I did relate to Belinda.
But I don't know if that's still you.
No, but in high school. Actually, you know what? I might not be a little dead girl, but there is Jamie equivalents. And I don't even just mean my relationship with G.O.D. I do mean...
Cuties, we've drank the Kool-Aid. We are back in on G.O.D.
I do mean, like, just living her best life.
Until she dies.
Yeah, but that's everybody.
I love that. Because I do think a lot of your answers are like pre-therapy, pre-boyfriend, pre-new apartment Donnie answers.
Yeah, but the Donnie I am now is still Donnie, of course. But like, in terms of who I relate to, it's not fun anymore. Who am I? Queen Latifah in The Last Holiday. It's always people living their best life. That's not fun. I'm going to give you 1 minute on the clock to give me a synopsis.
Sure. Dying girl spends the last few good months of her life taking on the emotional labor of teaching a man how not to be evil.
Oh no, we took things differently in this movie, I feel.
Like what you're hearing? Head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for more.
There you can find uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes.
That's patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne. See you there.
A bunch of white trash kids and their one black friend skip the school dance to initiate another one into their group. His mission? To jump off of the thing that Michelle Trachtenberg was supposed to jump off of in the season 5 finale of Buffy to save the world, into a ravine. But the issue is, nobody tested the water pressure, and so he cracks his neck or whatever. And when he doesn't... And when he doesn't come to, they leave him for dead and fly the scene. And most of them get away with it, except for Landon Carter and his little red Corvette, who get stopped by the police. Well, forced to crash into a barrel of toxic waste by the police. Same Vietnam.
Just a cut and dry case of not bullying.
Landon Carter says, like, I jumped from there too. Like, that's how you join the group.
Hazing is bullying.
No, it's not.
Okay. I think this is just going to be a fundamental agree to disagree.
Okay. I
understand why you think it's not bullying because it is transactional. And in theory, this person is electing into being bullied because they will get something at the end. Where like the bullying I think that you're thinking of is like bullying from people of a certain power to another person where this person does not get anything out of it. So I understand in your Regina George social climbing brain, you're like, well, this is just what you got to do to get where you want to be. But I would argue that making anybody jump off of something where there is a potential to crack your neck and die, maybe that's not a healthy friendship.
So do you think Big Brother 40 is bullying?
Yes. But we've elected into it.
So has he.
But you're also not making us jump from a bridge.
Okay. I am making you crawl under folding tables, though.
But, like, we're already friends with you. It would be like if you invited us to BB40 and you said, like, I'm only going to be friends with the winner.
Okay. Whoever picks this gets to be the co-host of my new podcast.
Right.
Okay. Okay. But the Broken Neck Lady, and you remember Broken Neck Lady from Haunting of Hill House?
I have no idea what that string of words means. No.
You never watched Haunting of Hill House?
No.
It's scary, but it's like so good. It's about this family that lived in this haunted house. So now they're like coming back to it as adults, but like they all have memories as children as well of living in that house. Oh. And there's one episode where it's just like them all fighting and saying they hate each other and what was wrong with them and like what was wrong with their parenting and all that stuff at someone's funeral. It's brilliant. Huh. But anyway, one of the ghosts is this lady with a broken neck the whole time.
Oh,
and
fun.
The little girl just says, Broken Neck Lady was in my room again. Anyway, that's what I've referred to this boy as the whole episode. Broken Neck Lady survives and has the congregation of the local church praying for him, making it a joint prayer as they pray for the souls of the demons who did this. Speaking of demons, they had on the news at work the other day, which our manager flat out has told us repeatedly, you're not allowed to have on the news, not allowed to have on the news. But I'm not about to be a narc.
Wow, there's a first time for everything.
She listens to this podcast, Chelsea. I'm playing my cards right. So I'm not a narc and I don't run back to my manager, but like, yes, the news is on every single day. The other day the news was on and they had the Blake Lively coverage on the TV. And I was like, oh, she's such a demon. I love her. I wish I was a demon. Which, first of all, like, you are, babe. I don't know why you
ask,
said
believe,
that.
Receive.
That's my miracle from God. So I said, I wish I was a demon. And then there's this religious woman I work with. And she like moved her seat and said, like, I'm going to bring in holy water tomorrow because I don't think you should wish to be a demon.
Now you should come in your next shift, go to Halloween Party City and come in with like crazy, like red eye contacts in and just don't say anything, but just like glare at her.
Hurt people. And since Landon doesn't want anything to do with his ex-girlfriend Belinda, her and the other ugliest girl in school spend their days bullying the Reverend's daughter Jamie for being plain. But Jamie doesn't let it slide and stands up for herself with the 3 S's: sass, a smile, and the savior on her side.
God. 2 things. Number 1, anytime I hear the name Belinda, I think about Belinda Blinks. And I know you are not a podcast person, but the podcast My Dad Wrote a Porno is one of the funniest podcasts that ever existed. And the main character of the porno that the host's dad wrote is Belinda. And she's got perky breasts, just like pomegranates. Cuties, if you are looking for an escape from the dumpster fire that is our world, I can't recommend that podcast enough. So I just had to shout them out.
I think of Once Upon a One More Time, the Britney Spears musical. It was about Disney princesses that read the feminist mystique and learn that they're not just property of Prince Charming and they can live their own lives. One of the stepsisters' name was Belinda.
Huh.
Yeah, and she sings, "You better work, bitch," to Cinderella.
I love
It
that.
was a great show.
Number 2, let's talk about Mandy Moore's makeup in this movie.
Oh, okay.
We've referenced it, but they really did do their best to make her look plain. And spoiler alert, she is dying. But I thought it was really funny that obviously they're making her look unwell on purpose. But I don't know if you noticed, it was in the like far away shots where they really like made her lips flesh tone color, like really had the like Tim Burton dark under eye bags. But then when they would have a close up of her, she was wearing like clean girl makeup. Did you notice this? So it would be like from far away, you're like, oh God, is she okay? And then a close up would happen and you're like, oh, right, she's still Mandy Moore. Still gorgeous.
Oh, thank God.
And this is how I feel. How she looked in this movie is how I feel when I don't wear lipstick.
You have flesh-colored lips?
Yes. You've never noticed? Me and my brother both have like naturally flesh-colored lips.
Our very own Spencer Pratt.
I know. Isn't it so strange?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I always wear lipstick. So I can be wearing this, but I don't feel like I'm dressed for the day until I put on a lip tint.
New bullying technique unlocked. I never knew that about you. Now I have something new to make fun of you with.
I know. And it doesn't help that half of my bottom lip is scar tissue from when I got hit by that car. So that is like really flesh tone because it's just like they cobbled together my skin to make it a lip.
Oh, wow. That's quite an image. Because this is a movie, and I've never seen this happen in real life, Landon is forced to live out his punishment by helping the janitor on the weekends, tutoring kids who need extra help, and the worst punishment of all, joining the cast of the Spring musical.
It's like one of these things is not like the other. But I guess actually just go back to any of our coverage of Glee, and I would argue that maybe having to be around theater kids would be a punishment.
You are so nasty. Oh, Flesh Lips herself doesn't want the solo. On the commute to tutoring, Jamie sits next to Landon, who tries to ignore her until she brings up Broken Neck Lady. Then he reads her for filth, listing every detail he's ever observed about her. But you can't bring a bad bitch down, and Jamie tells him she doesn't care what people think about her.
Now, I am delusional because I'm like Jamie in this regard. I don't know if I don't care what people think about me, but I truly just am under the impression that people love me, and if they don't, they're just simply wrong. So rarely do I have the experience of like being perceived because I'm just like living in my own chaotic bubble. But last week, Donnie, I had an experience of being like as close to feeling embarrassed as I have in a very long time.
This will be rich.
I showed up to the girls' school to pick them up because we had like some different scheduling things. Usually Dr. Bald scoops them and takes them home, but I had to come and get them. Now, this was before we got the brand new crate and the new little snuggle puppy for AB. So the bitch can't be left alone. So I brought AB to school pickup, which is not allowed, but you know, I kind of operate off of like, until somebody tells me directly, oops, I didn't see that sign that clearly says no dogs on school property. And I've done it before. But what I didn't account for is that you might recall Marilyn got 20 inches of essentially ice that has not melted. So the only ways the children could walk were like the small shoveled pathways. So usually I have AB like off to the side in a field and the girls come and meet me. But this time the field is just 20 inches of ice. Now I want to paint the full picture of what I was wearing at drop off. So I had AB. I was wearing my platform Uggs. I was wearing my big furry jacket that you love when I wear. I had my big noise canceling headphones on and I was waiting. So first, a teacher comes out and says, I'm so sorry, the dog's so cute. You can't have dogs on school property. The kids are going to be walking right past here. And this should have been my first clue, what she said next, that things were going to go awry. This teacher knows me. She looked at me and she said, who are you waiting for? And I said, Coco and Sapphire. And the look she gave me pause. She said, oh, right. Okay. Well, you wait over there and I'll send them over. So they come on out. I've already been in trouble. Like now I cannot bring AB back on property because of my rule that once somebody tells me directly, I'm not going to go against them. So I'm waiting on this like sheet of ice for the girls to come out. They come out. AB immediately takes the world's biggest shit, which is probably why dogs are not allowed on school property. So I am trying to get out those stupid fucking poop bags that are like these long, like magician's trick that you have to rip and then you have to like find a way to open. I'm trying to do this while I have platform shoes on the ice. AB's pulling. The girls are screaming at me, let's go, let's go. What's taking so long? They're trying to like move. I'm doing my own Olympic sport of trying not to fall. I'm doing this for like 5 minutes. And finally, one of the bus aides comes up and is like, please give me the dog so you can pick up the poop. Meanwhile, I had tried to grab it like from the outside of the bag. I have poop on my hands, Donnie. It's a mess. So I finally get the poop, and then I have to make my journey about a quarter of a mile on the ice. The girls go on the sidewalk, but I can't go on the sidewalk because the kids are there. So I am like skating on the ice, trying to get back to the car. Meanwhile, the girls are screaming at me this whole time. Everybody is looking at us. Every parent, every child, every teacher. I felt perceived. I get in the car. I take a deep breath. I'm like, oh my God, that was a shit show. I pull down my sun visor. You and I had recorded earlier in the day where I wear brighter lipstick than I would day to day. Certainly brighter lipstick than I would wear to pick up my daughters from school. It had smeared. So not only was I wearing the outfit I described earlier, but all of that was going on while I had like Joker lipstick up my face. It's moments like this that I really have to take a good hard look in the mirror at my Joker lipstick and say, you know, sometimes it's not cute to be chaotic. Sometimes it's just chaotic.
I am so glad we've met online because I wouldn't be your friend. At the drama club rehearsal, Landon learns the show is something else I've only seen in movies and TV shows. The musical is an original piece written by one of the students, with music by Jamie herself. The show tells the story of burning passions and blazing Tommy guns, and follows the rise and fall of Tommy the Gun Thornton, which, let one of them be subtle. When she said tells the story of Tommy guns and then says the character's name, let that be the joke. You don't need to say Tommy guns twice. That pissed me off. In Prohibition-era New York, and after not even a second of an audition, Landon is given the lead with Jamie as the love interest.
I know you'd be pissed, Donnie.
I was pissed watching it. At first, I thought it was an untraditional audition where, like, I'll give the parts, we'll see how the chemistry is, and go from there. But, like, no, who she just picked out of her asshole was who got the parts.
Right. Could you imagine you're a theater kid toiling away, being in the ensemble, you finally become an upperclassman, and then this guy who almost murdered somebody comes in as punishment and gets the lead? Because at first, the shot, I only saw girls. So I was like, oh, maybe he's like the only boy now. And so everybody's just so happy that Tommy Guns doesn't have to be like drag.
Yeah.
But no, they pan over and there are several boys there too.
Yeah.
So he truly just came in and swept that role.
Right. And in what I thought was happening was she picked randomly, then we were going to do it, whatever. Like that at least lets him like get into it and like channel something inside himself. And then they're like, oh, he does have what it takes. Let's make him the lead. But in what really happened, she just gave him the role and then he half-asses it that whole first rehearsal.
Yeah, they're like, are you trying to be this bad? He's like, I guess it comes naturally. This is not a Zac Efron High School Musical situation where it's like, wow, he's got his head in the game.
And sure, he doesn't. But this is basically what happened in the 8th grade productions at Cecilia Snyder Middle School, Hula Hoops and Halos, because I wanted to be the male lead so badly. Chip was his name. We held auditions. She made me like the Fonzie of the show. You've seen
I've seen the home videos.
And left that part open and then casted it from someone in one of her classes, no audition. I think her thought was I was not cute enough to play a male love interest and she wanted someone like traditionally cute. But I wish she would have just told me that. Like, you're more of a character actor, Donnie. You're a Rachel Dratch. You're not a Amy Poehler.
That's real fucked up, actually.
Yeah.
To leave it open is crazy.
Yeah. Like, just say the cast list is going to take some time and then go cast it from your classroom and say, like, we brought in someone new to play Chip. But to, like, post a cast list and say, like, to be determined, that's crazy.
Yeah, she should have just waited that extra couple days.
Yeah.
And said, like, oh, I'm also holding auditions in my class, too. Because then it's like, oh, we all auditioned. And at the same time, she thought about it, and picked what she wanted. This is like, well, Donnie, Here you go.
Now, in hindsight, Chip was a more boring character. I do think whoever played my role had to be someone who could really tap into playing a character. It couldn't just be like playing yourself on stage, you know?
Yeah, and one day we'll post that Hoops and Halo.
Maybe it'll be this week.
Perhaps.
As supporting evidence. After rehearsal, Jamie has her chance to read him for filth when she tells him he doesn't try in school, but likes school because he's popular and he knows he'll never be on top again. But she must have said something right, because Landon asks her for a ride home, where he immediately shows how fucking rude he is and repeatedly changes the station from the music she has playing. And she lets him, because of number 42 in her life's to-do list, befriend someone she doesn't like.
This is kind of an iconic way to read somebody for filth. And I think I'm going to start doing it on this podcast. Like, I'm just going to start saying out loud, rule number 89, let Donnie be right about something even though he's obviously wrong. Or imagine we cover like Silver Linings Playbook and I just say, rule 55, have the self-control to not mention Emma Watson's terrible American accent when her name is brought up.
Why would you talk about her in Silver Linings Playbook?
I meant Perks of Being a Wallflower. But imagine, I mean, that's how often that American accent is on my brain.
And although Landon has been rehearsing and spending evenings stargazing with her in cemeteries where she tells him her plans for building her own telescope, he's still a dick at school in front of his friends. And so, when he drops by her house for another rehearsal, she tells him she's not looking for a secret friendship. And if the Bible allowed her to say he's a fat cunt that should fuck off and choke on a dick, she would. But since she can't, she'll simply tell him she's not interested in spending time with him. And now that Jamie isn't hanging out with him, Landon has time to make a difference, really trying with the student he's tutoring, visiting Broken Neck Lady in the hospital, and making a real attempt to do his best in the school play. And he does. Not as good as Jamie, who leaves him speechless when he sees her in costume, but he does good. Good enough to leave everyone that ever met him shocked.
Did they not have a dress rehearsal? Like, I understand the allure and the intoxication of being on that stage with the bright lights and like getting swept up in the moment, and he ends up smooching her and all that. But like, he forgets his lines because he is so stunned by her beauty.
Yeah.
Did they not have a walkthrough where they did full dress? I'm looking at this drama teacher because she's skipping crucial steps in the audition process, and I would argue she's skipping crucial steps in the practicing portion too.
For sure. Any drama club I've ever been part of not only does dress rehearsals, but they also have what is referred to as Hell Week, where not only do you have your normal rehearsal after school, but then you're in school from like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every night that week leading up to the show, so that they can like do dress rehearsals every single night and you run it like 4 times that week.
Right.
So this bitch should be unemployed.
Yeah. Get out of here, lady.
Also, was the kiss the end of the show, or is there more that we just didn't see? Because from plot point of view, if I was watching a show and it ended with her singing that song and then ending, no, that is not the end of a show. But like, we are left to believe that is the end of the show.
I think it might be the end of the show.
What a stupid ending.
In which case...
She had a very small part then.
Yeah. I imagine she would maybe be in the dream sequences earlier. And maybe she was in the hood the whole time. And that's why he didn't see her true beauty. Like, because he's referencing this dream, this dream, this dream. But it also makes me wonder, how short was this play? Because he did seem nervous in that scene. And you would assume that he would have his, like, sea legs
by the
under
end.
Him.
Yeah.
Also, in rehearsal, we only see him getting pushed by that other girl over and over again. Yeah. Is this a one-scene play?
Imagine it's just a scene being done in a talent show. Also shocking is that Landon misses spending time with Jamie, and he tells her as such. But she's too busy hiding between her books and her faith and her frickin' telescope. And won't tell him she wants to be with him. So he takes it to the next level and really shows her he cares by showing up at her house with a gift, a new sweater. And before she can try it on, her dad tells her that he's not willing to change the rules because God's not changing the rules. And God doesn't want her to get her puss popped.
Praise be. Now, I have a question. Is this a good present? Like, would you be satisfied by a sweater? This girl has a wraparound porch and her own car she drives to school. If she wanted another sweater, she would buy another fucking sweater.
What do you get a girl who has everything?
Something besides a sweater, certainly. This tells me that he has not listened to a goddamn word she has said about herself, because he is getting her a thing that he knew about her that she called fairly predictable. Like, he included, and you only own one sweater. That's a him problem. She's fine wearing the same sweater every day.
But is she? I do think she was ready for an upgrade, because once she owns this, she only wears that.
True.
She wears that pink sweater to her funeral.
R.I.P. Yeah, I guess it's like when I have my favorite tall tee. I don't know what I want until I get a new one and I work it into the rotation. And then pretty soon, Addams Family every day.
Yeah. My boyfriend told me that he is the same way. He is an outfit repeater, just like Lizzie McGuire. But when I got him a sweater for Christmas, it became his go-to sweater. But recently he started student teaching, so he bought a whole new wardrobe, and now he has a new sweater in rotation. And I haven't said anything except on this public platform, but I did say to myself, what the fuck is this?
Like, you feel like he's cheating on you by wearing a new sweater?
Yeah, that he bought himself. Like, if a friend bought it or if a parent bought it or whatever, then I could really be jealous and say, like, why is he wearing their sweater and not mine? But no, he just bought this for himself and is wearing it more than he wears the sweater I got him for Christmas.
So to circle back on our earlier conversation about the personal growth you've had and how it's not fun to just pick the character that's living their best life, I would like to retract my earlier statement that you have grown past being Belinda, because that is fucking crazy, Donnie.
Landon's friends are jealous he'd rather hang out with a Jesus freak than them. So Belinda photoshops Jamie's face onto nude photos and passes them around the school, which results in Landon punching his former best friend in the face before asking Jamie out on an official date. And while Jamie may want to, she's not allowed to date. So Landon pays her father a visit and uses the Bible against him, and suddenly Jamie's allowed to date. On the date, Landon tells her he can't dance, but tries anyway, and asks her what's number one on her list, but she still won't tell him. And while he doesn't know number one, he does know the rest of her list. So he gives her a fake tattoo, lets her stand in two places at once, and kisses her. It's gonna be free, it's gonna be real, it's gonna change everything I feel. And it does. He loves her, and he tells her this, and she reminds him that she told him not to fall in love with her.
I think it's so funny. I need to start doing this more in my life. When I meet somebody new, like, imagine I'm like at a cookout and I meet a new parent friend and I'm like, there's just one rule. Don't fall in love with me.
If you have the makeup on, they won't.
Yeah.
Landon takes Jamie to the cemetery to look for a star that he had named after her. And so she confesses that she, too, is in love with him before telling him her number one. She wants to get married in the church her mother grew up in. And now that he knows, he makes a to-do list of his own that his mother finds in his pocket. But he's willing to work hard because Jamie has faith in him, and that makes him have faith in himself. Beautiful. Now, if only someone could have faith in the American healthcare system. Jamie tells Landon she has leukemia and has stopped responding to treatments, and she assumes this is a breakup. But Landon isn't going anywhere and wants to step his game up even more, having his mother teach him how to dance so he can dance with Jamie, and building a telescope for her with his friends, since his mother put Jamie's business in the street and they all found out. Even bitch-ass Belinda shapes up and gives him photos of the couple at the school play. When Jamie sees him building the telescope, she's head over heels, literally, as she passes out and is rushed to the hospital, where she continues to get sicker. Landon spends his days by her bedside, where they read through her mother's journal, which is very Mamma Mia. Like, yes, all you did was find Bible quotes and stuff, but like, what if it said, I fucked a reverend last night?
If only.
And find her favorite Bible verse. Love is patient, love is kind.
The basic bitch of all Bible quotes.
Okay, relax, because this was read at my wedding. However,
of course it was. It's literally a joke in Wedding Crashers.
But what's not a joke, I'm no punchline, honey. What's not a joke is when they announced it, instead of saying, I will be reading 1 Corinthians verse 13 to whatever, she instead said, I will be reading this passage from A Walk to Remember.
That's iconic, yeah.
Thank you. Landon's dad may be a deadbeat dad that doesn't make time for his son, but he does have money. So when he hears what's happening to his son's girlfriend, he pays for Jamie to get home care. So she returns home, where Landon continues to build the industrial-sized telescope. And when it's finished, he asks Jamie to marry him in the church her mother grew up in. Did you read the book?
No.
Chelsea, the reason it's called A Walk to Remember is because she is so sick at the end, she can't get out of bed, but she still uses all the strength in her to walk down the aisle.
Whoa.
Powerful. I wish we would have got that. I guess the title of Walk to Remember is still like a walk to remember. It's your wedding day, whatever, but it does lose its punch. Also, like, we just saw her dancing in the moonlight to Top Loader on that balcony. So, like, watching her walk down the aisle, who cares? She just danced.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we didn't get a reference to that, because they could have included it in the montage of just her getting sicker and sicker and then her being wheeled around and then her in a wheelchair at the like start of the walk down the aisle and then just her getting up. We didn't have to explain the whole thing, but that would still be a nod to like the title of the movie.
I agree. Jamie and Landon are married for a summer before she dies in the fall. And with the newfound faith in himself that Jamie had for him, he gets into medical school. After all, her love is like the wind. You might hear this at karaoke too. You know that song from the Footloose soundtrack? She's like the wind through the leaves.
You know that I've never seen Footloose.
It was the 80s hit, though, by Kevin Bacon himself. It was on the pop chart.
She's like the wind, we gonna need somebody.
A different song. We can do a mashup like we're on Glee. You're Sue Sylvester, though. No, you're Becky.
Okay. Final thoughts. If we were to bring this movie to present day, what would the plot to a sequel be, or who would you cast in a reboot? Funny you mentioned a horror movie earlier, because I said, let's bring her back as a ghost. Let's have her coming back, checking in. Maybe he's lost his faith. Maybe he's finding some more trials and tribulations in his middle age, and he has to be reminded, like Denny in Grey's Anatomy. Maybe he's got a brain tumor and she's visiting him from the great beyond. I just need Mandy Moore on our screens more.
Me too. And she is going to be, I think it's like Friday Night Lights adjacent. There is a new TV show coming out about football, and she is the coach's wife. So that could be very good. And it's from the creator of This Is Us. So I'm hoping like every week a football player dies.
And I hope she gets old lady prosthetics again.
It better start like that. I hope she has Benjamin Button disease, and the show needs to be picked up season after season if people want to see her get young.
Yeah. Memento.
A reboot was announced in February 2025 with the same producers, but it hasn't been cast yet. And an unauthorized jukebox musical featuring all the songs from the soundtrack and then additional Mandy Moore songs took place in November 2022 in Tennessee, starring Mona from Pretty Little Liars as Jamie Sullivan.
Now imagine she gets gifted that sweater and she says, I want candy.
See? That would be great. Let's not do an unauthorized jukebox musical, but I do think if it had original, like, violin, boring music, that it could be good on Broadway.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
So final thoughts. What about this movie aged well, and what aged like blockbuster? I'll start with some blockbuster.
Okay.
Roger Ebert made mention of this, but the one Black character filling the role of like the steadfast best friend who plays Missy Elliott, to which Sean West says, "Can you turn off Soul Train?" That's Missy Elliott. That's Missy Elliott. It made me uncomfy, for sure.
Yeah. But I do think racism among friends is funny. And if there was a Black person on the staff to write a joke that actually made sense, then sure, show how comfortable they are with each other.
Yeah, but I don't know if they had that type of friendship.
Well, they had this little handshake. Anyone with a secret handshake, you can be racist to.
So if you're playing along at home, which of us is a better white person today? Thank you. It's an honor just to be nominated.
Speaking of nominated, I said what aged well was Emmy nominee Mandy Moore. At this point in time, she was only known to be a singer and then joined the acting ranks. But if you watch it in 2026, the woman does have an Emmy nominee under her belt.
She was great in this.
Also, When done well, there are the Left Behinds of the world starring Kirk Cameron. There are the Chrissy Metz movies where her son falls in an ice hole and she has to like pray to God that he can be found or whatever before he freezes to death. But when done well, I like a religious propaganda movie.
Oh, we are so back, cuties, and it's frightening.
No, but I've always liked that. This movie I've always felt the same with. This was the movie that held me on to God. In the times that I wavered, I was like, but what about A Walk to Remember? I can't forget.
This movie was the footprints in the sand where Jesus carried you.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then I would get into my head, and luckily Mandy Moore had both sides of the coin painted, because then I would get in my head and be like, yeah, but religion as a whole is like Saved. Mandy Moore in Saved is what religion is. And then I was like, but Mandy Moore in A Walk to Remember is what religion could be.
I see. I would say she was still a little preachy.
You
She
have
was
to be.
still somebody that if she was not on her deathbed, she would be taking that mission trip to Africa, and her Facebook profile photo would be her surrounded by a bunch of little African kids.
But in my religious era, God gives you what you need, and he needed her to die so that she didn't become that person. She was the
Sure.
best version of herself because she knew, oh, I only got a year left. Let's tune this in.
Yeah, just like my favorite thing for people to say when you're going through crisis, everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm.
I also hate oh, that's okay, bitch. Like, and then tries to equivalate it, but it's not at all. Like if I said, oh, I'm getting divorced, and you said, oh, that's okay, I walked on 10 feet of ice for 5 minutes. That's not a segue. You need to learn how to use your words, because that's okay, but
Well,
not the
let's
same.
not cast stone in our glass houses, Mr. Equivalate.
What's
about
that mean?
using our
Oh, yeah,
words.
but I'm not bringing other people down.
No. That was a dig at that fantastical word you just used right out of the plot of Wicked. But no, I completely agree. There's nothing worse than somebody who I think is earnestly trying to relate, but it's like, just let me have my moment to bitch for a second.
What word was I looking for? Relate?
You were looking for either the word relate or I think false equivalencies.
Equivalate. I like that.
Yeah.
I
Very
should write a
Glinda
Wicked
of you.
sequel. Yeah. Let's end this episode in a clock tick. Next week, we'll be covering Brokeback Mountain. We're bringing the queers home for Tears and Queers. We'll talk to you later. Love you like a sister. Bye.
Thank you for listening to I Am the Cute One. If you want more, head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes, as well as even more bonus content.
And if you like what you heard, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating and subscribe to our show. And to help us grow this community of chaotic cuties, share an episode with a friend you think would pass the vibe check.
And to see the madness, check out our YouTube channel, where video footage from all current episodes are posted weekly.
You can follow me at Real Donnywood on Instagram and all other social media platforms.
And if you want more of my personal brand of chaos, check me out at Oh No Chels.
Talk to you later. Love you like a sister.